Oh, wow. Good evening. Good evening. Oh, mm, guess I need to look over that day. Not sure. Yes. Well, hello. Good evening. It's the 4th of July. I decided to do a quick little video. Uh, had a wonderful time. A little tired because I actually had a wonderful time. Me, my husband, and my son. We went to a neighbor's cookout for 4th of July, and we had a ball. We had a ball. And it was just so good to be around people that that you generally just get along with, um, that respect you, that want to share good times with you, and that's what we all need. We all need to surround ourselves with just people who they just want to just enjoy life, you know. And that's how I felt tonight. We it was at one neighbor's house. And this is probably the second or third year my neighborhood has did this. Someone in my cul-de-sac will throw a 4th of July party and invite the rest of the neighbors. So it was good because we didn't have to get in our car and travel. We was able to walk over there. Everybody bought a covered dish. And the gentleman who house it was over with his wife, he's a fireman, so they're like really, really into like cooking on a grill. And he slow cooked this pulled pork that was awesome. It was just so awesome. He slow cooked it for 11 hours. Did a dry rub prior to that, and it turned out so tender and flavorful, full with a lot of good smoke flavor to add to it. It was awesome. Um, the fireworks, uh, everybody came in. The fireworks was awesome, but we had like two sets of different fireworks going on. One area, I don't know who was doing it, but it was somebody private was doing fireworks, and the main fireworks started like around 9:30. So those main fireworks went off, and of course they were awesome. And we're kind of lucky because we didn't have to travel like far at all to see these fireworks. We can just go right out to the street that we live in our cul-de-sac, and up in the air we can just see them. So we really live in a good area for those type of things to happen. It was awesome. So as you see in my title, narcissistic mother and the scapegoat, and I'm the scapegoat. And you also see, seeing freedom. And that's how I was envisioning today when I was at the cookout. I was seeing freedom. I've been seeing freedom for some time, and it's like at a distance, but yet, how can I say this? I'm claiming it now, day by day. I'm living it now, but I started seeing it even more in the future, and I started accepting the fact that I won't ever, and I'm do mean ever, um, associate myself with that side of my family anymore. And a couple of days ago, those who were like connected to those family members, I actually went on my social media and I blocked them out. Um, I don't communicate with those people. Um, I have nothing against them, but I don't communicate with them on a regular basis. If I see something that I feel like responded to, I do, and vice versa. But my purpose of blocking them out was because I knew they had a connection and to them, and whatever I did, I just didn't want it to be any information getting back to them. I just didn't want my life to be shared unless I'm the one doing the sharing. And sometimes, as we all know on social media, um, we put our business out there. We have the control, the power to put our business out there. And if you don't want people to know exactly what you're doing, you don't put your business out there. So because I don't feel like I need to screen every little thing that I do, when I do want to share it with some people, that's the reason why I chose to just make my social medias a little bit more private and stuff. And it is what it is. I have no hard feelings about it. Um, but I know that they communicate on a regular basis with that side of the family that I used to deal with, and I just don't want them to know anything that's going on with me. I wanted to break all that. So I felt good, and I thought it was a positive thing to do. Um, when I see the future far off, me and my husband has actually talked about relocating, and the relocation, if we decide to go forth because we're strongly thinking of doing it, it's like states away. I'm originally from Baltimore and I live right now in Delaware. So I did 13 years ago, relocated then one state up. But now we're actually talking about going away states from here that it'll take at least, it's like what? I think it's 10 hours. Boom, 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 boom. I think it's like 10 hours. I'm not sure. I think it's 10. About 10 hours away from here. That's a long drive. I think it's 10. Um, and we're thinking about a possibility of Georgia. And we did some research. We're still doing research. I'm so glad for the internet for this because the area that we were first considering, my husband actually has family land down there. So it was a possibility that we might venture in doing, building something on the family land. However, um, not sure about that because when we did the research, we found out that in that particular area, um, it had a lot of. We went online and found out it had a lot of child molesters, which that's what I'm thankful for when it comes down to the internet because you can do some research. So we researched the demographics for this particular part of Georgia, and it was in the rural section where the land is located. And it's a very small town, less than 1,300 people live in this small town. And we was wondering why, because it tells you, about any anybody who had been registered as a sexual, you know, um, did any sexual offenses, whether it's child or adult or whatever. And when we looked, it was saying this particular area had 25 in a very small, condensed area. And again, the population is just 1,300, right? So we like, well, why? So we did a little bit more research and found out that the reason being is because it's like a perfect area for those who have that type of charge because um, it's not near any schools. The area that we considered possibly moving in at first doesn't have a school system. It's a part of Harris County, and Harris County, just like any other counties that have school system in it, they got their own way of, where whatever your address is, you're zoned to a particular school. Well, people in this particular small town that I'm referring to, if they have any children, they have to get bused to another town that's very close by in Harris County. So the law in the United States says that anybody who's a registered sex offender, they cannot be anywhere near, at least 1,000 feet from any schools or like daycare centers or anything like that. And when you think about it, 1,000 feet really is not that far, but that's the rule. And they have to get permission as well wherever they live at if they can live in a section of town. So again, apparently, this particular area that I'm referring to has a lot of predators in it, and the town next to it, it's the same thing. Um, 25, 25, and then we did the other small towns, and it was like 11, 12, and these are very small towns that I'm referring to, but it's in a small cluster together. So that kind of turned us off. Now, mind you, you have those type of people who have those charges all over the United States. But we do have a kid, and we are very much aware that we need to look out for him. So we don't want to live there. We all want to search for any place that's in Georgia, especially the northern part of Georgia, if possible, that we can just find. Big cities like Atlanta, Columbus, um, whatever other big cities and stuff. We're not trying to actually live inside, but would like to venture maybe on the suburban side of them and stuff. So it's a question, and if this comes to pass, it probably will be the end of this year, beginning of next year, as a possibility. But I'm very excited. I really want to do this, and I believe my husband, when we talk, we want to. We did, but we want to just make sure that this is the rightful thing to do. Not rightful thing, but the right area to move into. So. Um, but we both just feel like we really need that change in life, and we just think that it'll be a good move, you know. hmm See, I'm just feeling so excited about it and stuff. So yeah, I think about this freedom. Um, I'm already see the people that I'm referring to. They actually live in another state, and so there's no one up in Delaware but me, you know, from my side of the family. Now, if we truly take that leap and go down there, my husband does have family members down there and stuff, distant family members. And we have a niece that is in Savannah, and we have a host of other cousins that he grew up with that he hasn't seen in many, many years that's down there. And we also have another niece that's in Louisiana and also in Florida. So I'm sure they would appreciate having some more family members. Oops, sorry, that's closer to them and stuff. So I'm ready. I'm actually ready. So we'll see what happens. We're in the planning stages, but um, I would love to. When I had relocated from Maryland to Delaware, which is this one state up, it was what brought me to the area was that I had well, first of all, I had a business. I got a business now, but I had a business even back then. And the business took off. And before I even moved to Delaware, I had contracts in Maryland, Delaware, and Pennsylvania. And basically, I really wanted to move to Delaware for a couple of reasons. To be strategically located so I can be able to serve all three states, because that's where I was at the time. And also, I wanted to get away from my family. I wanted to get away from my family. More so, a particular, my narcissistic mother. See, back then, I was getting up on my feet. I had just finished nursing school. I may have been a nurse for 2 years. And it was, I needed distance. And I felt like I needed to distance myself because the more I was trying to get on my feet, the more it felt like um, that particular person was pulling me down. Um, Financially, they was trying to. My narcissistic mother had a gambling problem, and my success in her eyesight meant more money for her. It was just ridiculous, but it was a lot of manipulation, a lot of pulling, and it was a definite need just to get away. And I seen that it was just so turmoil back then. So I took a leap out on faith, and I had my two daughters. I wasn't married at that time, and I basically had started looking for a place, and I was like creeping up the Maryland line towards Delaware, and I found home in Delaware. And I found a house, and when I found the house, you know, I already had the monies coming in financially, so that wasn't a problem. It was just basically finding a home, which I did. And other than that, though, right after that, unfortunately, my company at that time had folded. That was crazy. It folded. And so I had wound up working for other people. It was a transition because the housing, raising a family part was fine in Delaware, but the job market was not. I wasn't used to the job market. It was very limited. Um, I came from a metro city, so the metro city that I came from, it was plenty of job opportunities. And I went from like choices at my discretion to basically picks that weren't desirable to me, you know. So that's another story in itself. But I stayed in Delaware for 13 years. It was a couple of times that I really did want to leave. Most of the time it was because of the job market and the opportunities that were not in it. And I found myself traveling all the time. And after a while, when you get older, you don't want to be traveling too much. You want to try to stay as local as you can. And I found myself working over in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, because the money just was not all that in Delaware. So it is what it is. I'm sure that if I move down south from what it looks like, I might have to be commuting then too. So I guess that ain't going to change. But the reason why I definitely want to take that plunge out on faith and this um, move is because I want to experience that that newness. Um, like when I came to Delaware, it was a foreign newness. Um, oh God, but other than the job, the transportation is terrible here. They don't have subways. Um, the bus system shuts down early, and it's limited to certain areas. So you definitely have to have a car to get around a little bit more. And the entertainment in Delaware is very limited. You basically go to like Philadelphia, where there's the mecca of entertainment in such a big city, and most of the known acts travel there. So, um, well, but I'm just comparing to like when I used to when I made a transition up here. And just to also answer a question, yes, when I made a transition to Delaware, did it appear to have gotten better between me and my narcissistic mother and the flying monkeys? Yeah, it did for a while. For a while. And what I learned from that truly is that you can put as much distance that you want between you and someone else. As long as you keep on reaching out to them or allow them to reach back out to you, it does not matter how many miles is apart, you're still going to experience the same thing. So that's why it took me until 2018. Well, that's not really 2018. I started my no contact actually in 2017, and I just been going through the legal stuff. That's the only reason why. But we have contact now. you know, I don't have contact with them. But I just feel like going south is going to be a good thing. I do. I feel like a new, fresh start means freedom. I just see that. I just so see it. You know. And I've been researching. I've been like looking at other people's YouTubes and I see the demographics of each and every place that we're considering planting our feet down. We have just done some research, and job market is a serious one. The business that we have is also definite because I plan on leaving the business that we started up here. I'm planning on getting someone to help me run it, and I still have my hands in it, and that I'll start another agency down where we're going at. So research is definitely needed, so make sure we're doing the right thing and stuff. But it's awesome. I just can't wait. And I hope to give y'all more updates as time goes on. It's not something that we're going to be like jumping up right now and do, but I want to let you know this is what is on my mind about doing some freedom thinking. What to expect in the new year. Not new year meaning 2019, January 1st, but new year since I've gone no, no contact. Now, with this freedom thinking that I have, I'm telling you, I've been enjoying life a little bit more. I mean, the small things. Like I said, I've been to a cookout tonight, and it was just wonderful just being around people, that respect you, and you respect them. It's awesome, and it's a breath of fresh air. And unfortunately, in today's times, with family members that might be dealing with this same issue, um, with a borderline personality or narcissistic personality disorder person, and sometimes you had to pick your family. They might not be blood, but you had to pick your family. So family might be church family members, might be community members, might be friends you befriend, and friends is not easy to come by. You know, it when I first moved here to Delaware, it took me about 3 years before I really connected with people who I would consider friends. I had associates, but I couldn't say that those people were my friends. And within time, that does tell who's your friend, who's not. So I appreciate um, the group of people that and this all. I do live in a fabulous community. Right in this cul-de-sac, we have like about 30 houses, I think. It's a big old cul-de-sac, the way it's built, and we have a tendency of looking out for each other, and we say hi to each other. It's majority of them is white. It's some Orientals. I think it's a Hispanic, and it's like two black families, including mine. But nice set of people, honey. We do good. So I just wanted to share with you. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe. Turn on your notifications when you'll know exactly when I'm gonna put up another upload. And be blessed on your new journey of freedom, being who you are, who God has chosen for you to be, and who you have accepted to be. Create your own path. Okay? You have a wonderful day.